Hello, my name is Michael Buchel. I'm a math and engineering teacher at Akalani's, and your son or daughter has the grave misfortune of having landed in my class for this year. In all seriousness, I'm thrilled to have them. I wish the circumstances were better and I wasn't recording this from my backyard, but instead we were in class and interacting with one another. But hopefully we'll get to that place sometime soon. A little bit about myself. This is my 15th year teaching at Akalani's High School, 25th year teaching overall, so I am decidedly old, as the kids probably consider. I also coach the girls water polo team at Akalani's. We're kind of a big deal if you hadn't heard, a couple undefeated seasons, so we're proud of that. Unfortunately, that streak is going to extend a little bit longer than otherwise would have been preferred, based on our current circumstances. I am thrilled to have your kids in class, even under these circumstances. Like I said, I have two boys of my own that are at Akalani's, a senior and a sophomore, and they are both in a couple of my classes. So put your minds around that when I'm going to be hosting Zoom sessions for class, they're going to be Zooming in from other rooms in the house or something. We haven't quite figured out what the logistics of that are going to be. But I share that mainly to communicate my empathy about the situation that your children and your households are facing as we make our way through the pandemic. But we'll make the best of it and hopefully make progress in our learning as we go. I want to talk a little bit about kind of my approach to distance learning in general, and then kind of get into the specifics of the individual course that your son or daughter is taking. Number one, I desperately hope we get back into the classroom in some way, shape, or form sooner than later. Until then, my goal is to try to replicate the learning experience that would be happening if we were in school. Obviously, that's a significant challenge, but we're going to do the best that we possibly can. The trickiest piece is how to create that kind of learning community that I try to foster in my classroom. Based on feedback that I got through the spring, I had a model that was reasonably effective that I'm going to build off of with some refinements. But I will be checking in with the students periodically as we go forward to see what's working, what isn't, to try to meet them where they are and try to satisfy the needs that they have as we make our way. When it comes to the delivery of new material, so lessons, notes, that sort of thing, I'm going to be primarily posting pre-recorded videos on YouTube that'll be linked to in Canvas for that purpose. Think of it as kind of a Buchel Academy instead of Khan Academy. They're not the most dynamic in the world, I'll fully confess. It's difficult to replicate what would be happening in class in terms of that format of delivery of new material. But based on the feedback I got in the spring, it was reasonably effective. And the main reason that I do this is I want to try to eliminate the technology or learning environment issues that students might be facing on any given day. I don't want students to miss out on new material or content because their Wi-Fi dropped out for 5 minutes or because they were distracted by what was going on at home. This way, when it comes to the first pass at new material, students will get the opportunity to pause, stop, start, rewind as needed as they complete the notes. So again, the goal is to try to mimic what would be happening in class. There will be notes, shells posted for them to fill in as they watch the videos. But that first pass of the content, I really think the best way to do that is through video. What this will also do is allow me to spend the live Zoom sessions that we'll have during the week trying to make it as interactive as possible for both formal and informal exchanges with students. So I'm going to deploy a variety of approaches during that time. There will be times where I'll try to reinforce a specific example or two of something that was in the lesson video that they'll have watched in advance of class. I might have a warm-up activity that'll be a review or a refresher to kind of get a sense of where the students are at. I'm going to have the opportunity for students to ask questions about particular skills or homework problems that they worked on between class periods. I want these sessions to be as interactive as possible, and for students to have a base of knowledge that they'll have hopefully acquired via those pre-recorded lessons. I also want to use the live Zoom sessions for test review or test prep to, again, try to not have it be the first pass at information that they're acquiring, knowledge that they're acquiring, but instead have it be a review, reinforcement, so it's not so critical if there's some sort of compromising circumstance that occurs during those live sessions. So the Algebra 2 Pre-Calculus Honors course is an extremely challenging class under the best of circumstances. The course combines the Algebra 2 Advanced curriculum and the Pre-Calculus Honors curriculum, puts it all into 1 year, and is really taught at a level that's harder than either one of those. And the reason for this is we're trying to get the students from their geometry year to Calculus AB in 1 year. It's a class that really stretches a student's ability. And the reality is I can't, even under these extreme circumstances that we find ourselves in, I can't really compromise the curriculum that's being offered in this particular course because the next class that they're in theory going to take is a AP College Board course that is going to have the curriculum the same as it is under any circumstances, distance learning or not. So I would be doing the students a disservice if I really kind of modified the curriculum down. Now, obviously, some compromises are going to be necessary, but I'm going to do my best to hold to the standard that that I've maintained for the years that I've taught this class before. There are three primary grading components to the course. First is homework. That's just graded on a completion basis. There will usually be 3 assignments per week. So 3 lessons, 3 assignments that go along with that. And I'll post the solutions for the students to self-check their work. My hope is that they'll work together with other students, whether that's during the Zoom sessions and breakout style rooms or on their own as well. The students will submit the work electronically in PDF format for me to check and bounce back to them. I don't provide a lot of feedback on the homework. I reserve that for the other 2 parts of the course, quizzes and tests. Quizzes are kind of a mid-unit assessment that still has some training wheels on. Those are taken open note and they're taken with a partner if they choose. They're welcome to work on their own. Each student gets their own grade. They don't share a grade, but I offer the opportunity to work with another student so that they have someone to kind of bounce questions off of, to prompt some discussions about the math that they're working on. The 2 partners have different forms of the quiz, a Form A and a Form B. So it's not one person carrying all the weight and then the other person just kind of copies down answers. The idea behind that is, again, that partnership to foster communication, but each student is held accountable for their own work. And then the third component of the course are tests. So the exams that we take are at the end of each unit. These are designed to be closed book, closed note, with no partner, on their own. And just like the quizzes, the tests will be assigned during the time window that the course is scheduled to meet during the week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So students will have, the test will be released, they'll have time to work on it, submit it electronically, and we'll go from there. I'll then provide feedback as I normally would. It'll just be in a digital format as opposed to with me marking up a pencil and paper that they submit. But again, as I've said, my goal is to try to maintain this level of standard and the type of work that they're doing in this distance learning model as closely as possible to what they would be experiencing if we were in school. The last thing I want to touch on, which is kind of a thread through the quizzes and tests and other types of assessments that the students will be taking, is regarding academic honesty. Every teacher is wrestling with this issue when it comes to trying to figure out how to best assess student knowledge and maintain the integrity to the course. But as I've tried to communicate, I want to try to maintain as close a connection to what our in-person schooling would be like. And so I just don't think that suddenly moving to all multiple choice, timed release exams that are totally divorced from what students would experience in my class under normal circumstances would be very fair. But with this means that I have a little bit less control over the circumstances under which students are taking these exams, these assessments. And so I'm going to be appealing to their better angels and their maturity. And I appreciate any and all support that I can get from you as their parents to try to encourage them that the most important thing is that they learn the material and are as close to whole as possible when we get back to regular school, whether that's later this year or next year, and that they're not just obsessing over crowdsourcing or internet sleuthing for answers of the assessments that we're taking. My goal, it's hard for me to know what they know and what they don't know if everyone's getting 100% of everything on everything, because they've been using outside materials or notes or anything that wasn't allowed for a given assessment. So I really appreciate your help on that front as we go forward. So with that, I'll sign off. Thank you for watching. I apologize for the impersonal nature of this forum, but it is what it is under the circumstances. I also want to express my deep gratitude for your contributions to LPI and to the Parents Club. We as teachers at Acalanes are extremely well supported thanks to your generosity. And we could not get through this without you. Again, we'll make it to the other side here. So please stay healthy and stay safe. And if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email me either through the Canvas portal or directly to my school email, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Take care.